in studio and weighed in on running back Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears as a tandem.
You know, this is the best sidecar guy that he's had since he's been the starter by far. I just wonder, like, what's the word? Goldilocks. The Goldilocks planet is what they're looking for, right? So what's the Goldilocks zone for Spears?
And the Nashville Predators training camp begins today as 61 players report to Bridgestone Arena for physicals and team meetings. The first on-ice sessions begin tomorrow at Bellevue Ford Ice Center. And the Nashville Sounds got off to their final home series of the season against the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp last night, walking it off on a hit from Brian Navarretto, winning 5-4. They're back in action at 6:20 p.m. over on 94.9 The Fan. You're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
79-52 Vanderbilt.
And I think he's got a coach
Shot by Cheryl.
You're going to see more moves. The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Let me talk to you.
Talking what's important to Nashville.
Sweet mother of God, what is the holdup?
This is the Chase and Big Joe Show.
Well, Lottie frickin' da!
With Chase McCabe and Big Joe Dubin.
Good, great, grand, wonderful.
We're here on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
What's going on, Nashville? Good Wednesday. Welcome in Chase and Big Joe Show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, Big Joe Dubin, Jake behind the glass today on the ones and twos. Good to be back in the saddle after a couple of days off. What's up, JoJo?
What's happening, Chaser? How was Atlanta? I've yet to be to go to that new stadium down there.
Oh, it's awesome. It was fun. They lost, and then, of course, they won like 13-0 last night. So, you know, they couldn't do that for me on Monday. I actually had something really funny happen.
What was the score Monday? 2-1?
No, it was like 7-1.
Okay, all right,
something like that. But it was fun, and there was a lot to do around Truist Park. I'm hoping that with the new Titan Stadium, it's going to be very similar to the Battery, which is the area around Truist Park. There's places to eat, you know, different bars. You can walk around and have open containers. So, I mean, it's like a really cool atmosphere before and after the game.
Okay.
And I really hope that we get that in Nashville with the Titans. You kind of have that with the Predators because you walk out on Broadway. But it'd be cool with the new Titan Stadium to have something similar to that. But, yeah, no, I had something really funny happen. So I can't stand Bryce Harper. Like, I cannot stand him.
Okay.
And
all right.
so, I've, of course, was like, okay, I'm going to heckle a little bit. And they put his stats up, and he had like 17 home runs. And I yell out, like, 6 of our guys have more home runs than you. And, like, it did not leave my mouth. And just over the fence.
He homered.
And everybody in front of me just turns around and looks. I'm like, oh.
What's this long-standing beef between you and Bryce Harper?
I've never liked him back to the Nationals. Like, I just, probably because it's, I was listening to you and Junie yesterday of athletes, coaches, what have you, that you just can't stand.
Right.
And I think my reasoning is, one, he was kind of a punk when he was younger. Like, he kind of had an attitude, and I didn't like that much. But he is good. Now, he hasn't won. He didn't win a World Series. He left and missed it with Washington.
He did. So he's back with Washington?
No, he's with the Phillies.
Okay.
Yeah,
my baseball knowledge. I told you, once a strike hit in '94, I was done, and I've come back briefly here and there.
Yeah.
But I just.
Well, I saw some Dale Murphy jerseys.
Yeah, there you go. I'll talk all day about Dale Murphy.
I know. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
He should very well be in the Hall of Fame. And so that's a 4-hour show that we're not going to get into today between him and Too Tall Jones.
No, but we can.
But the Hall of Fame list came out, and Derek Mason's on the list again.
As he should be.
Every year, yep.
I mean, look, I would love to, and I've thought about this, like getting Paul in here for a show. Because
he just left. Let me go grab him.
I know. He did the morning show today. But, kind of going through that process. But there's some guys that I feel like he doesn't think should be in, from the Titans. And I can make an argument that they should be, or at least be in the conversation more than they are.
Well, that's a good topic today. Who should be in the Hall of Fame? That's not any sports Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Let us know, 615-737-1025. Who should be in the Hall of Fame that's not? My two are Dale Murphy and Too Tall Jones. I'll argue those guys all day long, especially Murphy, man. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then I think, there's going to be some people that don't like this, but, I mean, I think Clemens and Bonds and McGuire, like, they should be in. Now, you can put an asterisk or put them, say –
right.
Like played in the steroid era or whatever. Like, I don't care how you recognize that. Like, I get it. They did that. But you can't tell me that they didn't have enough ability that they could still be Hall of Famers.
I agree with you. On this.
And I just Pete Rose. The only reason that they haven't gone back on it now, because it's legal now, and now you can't bet on your own.
Right.
But it's obviously looked at in a different light. The only reason he's not in now is because he's not a great person. I mean,
it does factor in when they say yes or no.
Yeah, I mean, am I wrong? I guarantee you the year after he dies, they will put him in. So he doesn't get to enjoy the moment.
Wow. Okay.
That's what I think will happen there. But when it comes to the Titans and Derek specifically, this is what, obviously Derek means a lot to me. He works here. But the reason I'm so passionate about this is I don't feel like the Hall of Fame committee recognizes special teams, and they should. And you look at Derek's all-purpose yards in his career, especially early in his career, to me, that should factor into his Hall of Fame eligibility.
And they're not going to tell you this. They'll say, no, but winning a Super Bowl helps immensely. They
Sure.
won't. I mean, there's a few exceptions, but they're not going to tell you this. They're, it's all.
He was talking about Terrell Davis. Terrell Davis is in the Hall of Fame because he won 2 Super Bowls, and he's the greatest playoff running back of all time.
Right. I was always like, why is he in the Hall of Fame? I totally agree.
Well, and I mean, I can make both sides of the argument for him of why he's in and why he shouldn't be in, but if you're going to put him in and he's got less than 10,000 yards, and even though he had great playoff performances,
right,
could you not also make an argument that somebody like Eddie, who's above 10,000 yards, I think what hurts him is he's a little short on touchdowns, but could you not make that argument that he deserves to be in even, with some of those numbers?
Eddie's in the Hall of Good, not the Hall of Fame.
That's fair.
Yeah. So here the quarterbacks that are up there, I mean, these are the 10. We got Nashville native Mark Bulger. Just give me a yes or no. Mark Bulger?
No.
Randall Cunningham?
No.
I say yes. Jake Delhomme?
No.
Doug Flutie?
No.
Rich Gannon?
One good year.
Jeff Garcia?
No.
Donovan McNabb?
Could be an argument.
Okay. Steve McNair?
Argument, but probably not.
Yep. Tony Romo?
No.
And Michael Vick?
Yes.
Oh, you think Michael Vick's
I think Vick can be that.
I think McNair gets in the next 10 years.
I could see that because here's how I kind of classify Vick and McNair. They're different. They were built different. Like Vick did it twice. Like everybody thought Vick's career was over, and it probably should have been over, but he was that good of an athlete that he did it twice, and he got 2 big contracts out of it. I know he never won a ring. But like some of the numbers, like he was the guy that invented the phrase video game numbers. Like he was putting up video game numbers. McNair, I will make the argument, should have been the MVP on his own in 2003.
Correct.
And they botched that. And I think even Peyton would say they botched that. But that should have been his. And the fact that he was just built differently from he could get hit by a truck on Monday and still play on Sunday was pretty remarkable. Like the toughness. And I know they don't reward toughness, but they should.
Right.
His leadership, obviously the plays he can make. I mean, I still look at that play before the last play in the Super Bowl. He was sacked 4 times and still made a throw.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we love him here but how is
Sure.
he perceived outside?
And I think he's perceived outside as the Hall of Good.
And then what happens? I mean, do you bring in what happened off the field into this? I mean, you say that you don't, but I'm sure they do.
You shouldn't, but you probably do.
Yeah. But I agree. Randall Cunningham, to me, because I grew up watching him, he was a difference maker. He was. Problem was he didn't win a Super Bowl, and that was the thing.
I'll give you like Randall Cunningham's in the same conversation, you know. So of the Titans, like we both kind of agree that maybe Steve is right there, borderline.
Yep.
Eddie just on the outside. Where are you at on Derek?
Special teams, yeah, I think. But you're right; they don't reward him. They're not going to put him in, and that's the thing. I think Derek Mason had a more better resume than the last two classes.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, even
the
though
problem is there's just so many wide receivers.
You know, we had Rondé Barber in here, but we still, I think, you compare Derek to those guys, yeah,
but I
absolutely.
mean, like different positions. But Rondé Barber and Derek, there's similarities there. The biggest difference is Rondé won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Right, and they're going to say it doesn't matter, but it absolutely 100% matters.
The only people that it hasn't mattered for are guys like Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, because they played in them. But I mean, Kelly went to 4 in a row, but not winning it didn't matter at the end of the day.
I'm still mad that Stabler got in after he passed away.
Yeah, I agree. He should have gotten.
I mean, his numbers. I mean, you look at that's a problem now. Is that everybody gets caught up on numbers. Like, he only had 28,000 yards passing, 190 touchdowns, 220 interceptions, but just his impact on the game and winning on the field was amazing. And Joe Namath didn't have great numbers, but you know how I feel about Joe Namath.
Sure.
Number one.
Adam in Clarksville says Andrew Jones definitely should be in the Hall of Fame. I'd agree with that. I think Andrew put up Hall of Fame numbers.
Is he? I know he's eligible.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be one of those guys that he might get in, but it's going to take him. It's going to take him a while.
People are weighing in big time on this. Yeah,
I know.
Should be in the Hall of Fame. That's the whole deal. Is that my thing was like I get an argument with a Dallas writer one time about Too Tall Jones, and he said the numbers and modern day and da-da-da. I'm like, just impact on the game when he played. Don't compare the numbers to what's happening now, because if you do that, then Stabler, Namath, and some of those guys shouldn't be in there, and that's just gets me irate. But a lot of those Cowboys are in, and you tell people like, hey, Too Tall Jones needs to be in the Hall of Fame. And every time I tell somebody he's not in the Hall of Fame, they look at me and say, well, of course he's in the Hall of Fame. Like, no, he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Well, he's not, because he played in an era where a sack was not a stat.
It was. I think it did not hit the 70. When did it start?
I thought it was like the early 80s.
Might have been early 80s. Because like Deacon Jones would have had like 600 sacks to get in there when he played for the Rams defense.
Well, he's listed with 106.
Sacks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that feel right, or does it feel like it should be more?
He should go in over Joe Klecko. Joe Klecko was a heck of a player, but you compare the two of those, Too Tall Jones should have been in the Hall of Fame.
Well, and here's the other thing.
Now I'm getting mad.
I know. Well, and I got a point I want to bring up, and then I want to relate this to Derrick Henry and something that the morning show was talking about. 615-737-1025, a player that isn't in the Hall of Fame, any sport, that you think should be. 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line driven by Wilson County Hyundai. We are up and running here on a Wednesday, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game is live and local.
And now, let's meet the starting lineups.
Robbie and Rex Road 6 to 9.
Big time performance, best part of the team.
Chase McCabe 9 to 11.
An unrestricted free agent.
Caroline, Willie, and D Mace 11 to 2.
Got the big contract.
The Velvet Touch. Talk about Hall of Famers.
And Stillman and Company 2 to 6.
Kept going for it.
And don't forget, we're your home for all things Smashville.
He scored!
Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. It's about to start getting cooler, and it's time to start thinking about your heating system. You do not want to experience breakdowns when that first temperature drop happens, so it's time to get your heating tune-up taken care of. Luckily, happy half-off month at Hiller. Tune-ups are 50% off. This month, Hiller is making it easier than ever to tackle necessary home replacements by giving you 50% off select add-on items. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, proud supporters of the Preds, the Vols, and Vandy. Hiller, Call the Happy Face Truck today.
C10 Nationals, the world's largest Chevy and GMC truck event, is coming to the Nashville Superspeedway September 29th and 30th. Packed with vendors and activities, autocross, swap meet, dyno, drag race, and more. Daily tickets $20 at the gate, and parking is free. More info at c10nationals.com.
We gather together in communities across the nation to remember and honor, to celebrate and support, to light the night. We are LLS, and when we walk, cancer runs. Find your local event at lightthenight.org.
Vanderbilt Commodore fans, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, along with 94.9 The Fan, is your new home for broadcast of games and the Commodore Hour on Monday evenings. Catch all the action for football, men's and women's basketball, and baseball all season long. Go Doors!
The two most sought-after, most prestigious names in bridal jewelry come together for one epic event this weekend at Genesis Diamonds.
Tacori and Verragio, the world's premier designers, are showing off their entire collections. All the latest designs, many showcased for the first time ever, with up to $5,000 in savings.
Everyone loves Tacori, meticulously crafted by master artisans in their California design studio. Discover the hidden details and exceptional quality that sets Tacori apart. There's always more than meets the eye with Tacori. Come explore the entire Tacori collection, including all new Tacori fine jewelry, earrings, bracelets, eternity bands, pendants, and more.
If you're engagement ring shopping, this is a once-a-year event you can't miss. Other jewelers aren't even allowed to carry these iconic American-made brands.
Also for this event, Genesis is showcasing an expanded selection of GIA-certified diamonds in all shapes and sizes.
Come join us and take advantage of special incentives, zero-interest financing, and as much as $5,000 in savings. This Friday through Sunday, only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Every day we are live and local.
It will help them get better players. I'm really excited about this defensive front.
And your source for Nashville sports.
They had missed the playoffs. Those players may end up being practice squad guys.
We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Sports Talk, the next generation. You're listening to The Jason Big Joe Show.
Make it so.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Jason Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. 615-737-1025. That is our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
So the nominee list for 2024, there's 180 guys on there, and one of them is one guy that will not get in. And see, I'm going to give you an adjective that his quarterback described him as. See if you guess who it is. That drunk idiot kicker.
Vanderjack?
Yeah. He goes on TV as a drunk idiot kicker. If you listen closely, Peyton
is that Elvis
like,
or Peyton?
I've told you for years, Peyton Manning sounds like Elvis. So he's like, my drunk kicker goes on TV and just blabbing his mouth. So, yeah, Vanderjack will not get in.
No, he will not. He sucked with the Cowboys, too.
Did he play for the Cowboys?
Yeah,
in
that's fact.
part of the grid. Thank you.
So he played for the Cowboys, and I think it was Nick Folk replaced him.
Oh.
Who's now with the Titans. So
there's always a connection on that.
Yeah, always a connection. Okay, so here's kind of my tie-in to modern day and to something I wanted to get into with Derrick Henry. And keep them coming. Players that are not in the Hall of Fame, any sport that you think should be in the Hall of Fame, 615-737-1025. There's one other Titan that he won't get in, but I would make an argument if it wasn't for one other guy, he would be in, and that's Brad Hopkins. You and I have talked about this before. We both worked with Brad, but you look at the era in which he played. He had to deal with Jonathan Ogden, so Jonathan Ogden got all the All-Pros and the Pro Bowls, and
one more, Tony Baselli.
Oh, and Tony Baselli. Yeah, you had that too. Brad was a Hall of Fame worthy left tackle.
13 years. Yep,
he was. And I just it sucks that like there are. And I think it was you that I heard you say one time the Hall of Fame was made for offensive linemen, but I feel like there's not stats that you can go look at with offensive linemen that would make you think like, oh yeah, that guy's a Hall of Famer. It's all based on what the team did and then all pros, and Pro Bowls. And stuff.
And the move didn't help. I mean, they can argue all day, but the move didn't help, and those teams were average. I mean, so you have to get to the next level and play. There's a lot of factors in there, the big market and winning, all that goes into how people perceive how you are, and so it does. I mean, it's you look at those Steeler teams from the 70s. I mean, they won and people loved them, and the Cowboys teams in the 70s and so there's winning helps a lot of these guys out so much. But again, when you got like Tutal's not in there, and it's just I don't know, it's incomplete, I think. And the same for Dale Murphy in baseball.
Sure.
Look, who got in last year from for the Cardinals in that Baseball Hall of Fame?
Was it
Rowland? Scott
yeah,
Rowland?
Scott Rowland.
All right, people went after Scott Rowland on Twitter. Like, how dare you? I don't blame Scott Rowland. It's not his fault he got in.
No.
But, Dale Murphy's the only back-to-back MVP player who's not in the Hall of Fame.
Well, baseball Hall of Fame rules suck. I mean, that there's only a short window of eligibility, and then you got to go to the senior committee.
I mean, one year those fat bastards just didn't elect anybody.
Right.
So how do you not do that? It's ridiculous.
I don't get it. So with the NFL, with Derrick Henry specifically, I heard Paul and Joe and Robbie talking about it this morning. I was like, okay, I got to bring this up to Joe. So he is about 1,500 yards from 10,000.
Okay.
And could hypothetically hit that this year. Probably not.
We don't do hypotheticals.
I know, we don't do hypotheticals. But he's got 40 carries for 143 yards and a touchdown this year. 79 touchdowns in rushing touchdowns in his career. So that's a pretty good that's a pretty good number right there. Do you think that he's done enough already? Or does he still need – he's got to get to the 10,000 yards, and then does he need a ring?
I think he needs to get to probably today 11,000 at the minimum.
Yep.
And he would get in. But I think man, that's tough. Right now, no. No. I mean, we love him here in Nashville. I mean, he's a fantastic running back. But no, right now, no. But give me to 11,000 yards, and you get in.
Okay. I think I'd agree with that because the 2,000-yard year has to factor in.
Yeah. I mean, like Frank Gore was he second all-time in rushing yards?
Yeah, Frank
now?
Gore's getting in.
But you tell people like, no, Frank Gore, he didn't do anything. That's the thing on him.
Frank Gore is getting in based solely on the numbers.
Yeah.
Go look at the numbers.
What about this? Eli Manning.
Now, that's a great argument that I lean yes because he's got the 2 Super Bowls. And I hate making that a part of my argument because it's like an individual accomplishment. But, I mean, he beat the greatest, what's viewed as the greatest team in history.
Yep.
That kept them from going undefeated. And I mean, he played his entire career for one organization. I mean, the numbers aren't bad, but
57,000 yards passing. How many touchdowns? 386 touchdowns, 244 interceptions. That's not bad.
Yeah,
I mean, pretty good.
So, I mean, I would say those are Hall of Fame numbers.
Yeah.
And I don't think the last name hurts either.
No, you're right.
And he played for the Giants.
He played for I wonder if one day does Dad get, that'd be kind of cool if Dad gets in by the senior committee and then son gets in.
So you would be more – Archie's in the College Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah. And he's in my heart, so
sure.
That's a big thing as well. But his
23, almost 24,000 yards, 125 touchdowns.
But remember, different.
Sure.
But look at his touchdowns, interceptions, 125 touchdowns, 173 interceptions.
Yeah.
Then now you get off into the Hall of Fame by your sons and everything else that goes on with it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think Archie – I think Hall of Good.
Yeah. Well, who do you think the next Titans players that gets in the Hall of Fame? I mean, I don't think within 10 years Steve does. I think Eddie doesn't because more people start passing him and then on and on and on.
I think Steve does. I think Eddie doesn't. I think Derek should but probably doesn't unless something changes with how they view special teams.
I thought Jarrell Casey was a hell of a player when he's here. He's nowhere near getting the Hall of Fame, but I mean, there's guys like that.
I think Kevin Byard has a chance.
He could.
I mean, you look at the interceptions. I think he certainly is in the conversation.
Yep, if he takes that pay cut, probably.
I think he did that. Restructured.
Restructured. Yeah.
I mean, the guys on the team now that are in the discussion would be Kevin Byard and Derrick Henry.
Yep.
But
the Titans.
Juwan wasn't good enough. Delaney Walker, you could have maybe made an argument had he not gotten hurt.
Ben
and
Jones
played
pretty
longer.
good.
Ben Jones is a good one.
Yeah,
Ben Jones could certainly be.
But the Titans could be like the Seahawks, who claim a bunch of Hall of Famers who played one season with them.
Well, sure. They got Moss. They got Andre Johnson. D-Hop.
Yeah,
it's probably going to be one.
So, like the Seahawks have Franco Harris.
Julio,
yeah. They got Franco Harris. They got Warren Moon. They got John Randall, and they got Jerry Rice. The Seahawks claim those. They played 1 year with them as Hall of Famers. It happens.
They can. It's just like the Predators can claim Paul Kariya and Peter Forsberg. And I would say Paul Kariya actually made an impact on this organization. So
absolutely.
They can claim him.
He did. So I don't know for the Hall of Famers. It's tough to look at what happened currently, but I don't think anybody. McNair next 10 years. That's probably it.
Yeah, and just to tie the Preds in for a second, I think there's a discussion for Pekka Rinne, but without the cup and only one Vezina, I'd say probably not. Probably just on the outside.
Okay. You want to read the text? We got something flying in here.
Yeah, let's read some text real quick before we get to John McClain. Steve McMichael for the Bears. You agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. He was on the 85 team.
Yep.
Torrey Holt.
No.
If that Titans O-line was good enough for the Hall of Fame, why is he not in the Titans Ring of Honor? I guess he's talking about Brad.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Very.
Big Ben Roethlisberger.
He will.
Yeah, I think so.
2 Super Bowls, a lot of numbers.
Shane in the Burrow says for a Predator, current players that should make the Hall of Fame, Roman Josi. I'd say he's well on his way.
Yeah.
Shea Weber probably could be. I think getting hurt didn't help, but he could be. Trotz as a coach, I'd agree with that.
Won a Stanley Cup.
Jim Edmonds. You're more equipped to answer that than I am.
Probably. Yeah.
Patrick Willis.
No.
You say no?
No.
Retired too quick?
I think so. Yep. Not a hell of a player.
I can make an argument.
Heck of a player.
I can make an argument for it.
But no.
And the more guys they put in that did retire early, I think that's going to help guys like Patrick Willis.
Yeah, I think very few defensive guys you're going to see do the 10, 11, 12 years. I think 8 at the maybe 9 now going forward will be like the max. Like, hey, I got my money. I'm okay. I'm healthy. See ya.
We'll ask John McClain his thoughts on this, plus more with the Titans in the NFL. Do that next. He joins us every Wednesday at 9:30, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
One is a legendary NFL wide receiver.
I gotta be prepared. I have to be ready.
One is a legendary Nashville voice.
You don't have to rely on carrying the ball 250 to 300 times.
And the other has been a legendary trash talker on the playground since the 4th grade.
Nobody is a Pro Bowler on day 1 of rookie minicamp.
They are Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays at 11 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Avenged Sevenfold in concert. The wait is finally over. A7X. This Friday night, Bridgestone Arena. Special guest, Falling in Reverse. Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com. Avenged Sevenfold. New album out now. Buy tickets at livenation.com.
Real estate investors, get ready for an incredible opportunity. D&M Development is thrilled to announce the Phase 1 presale of 16 non-owner-occupied short-term rentals in Nashville's exclusive resort-style community, the New Cumberland. Nestled between Germantown and East Nashville, this exceptional location offers stunning views of the city and the Cumberland River. Each unit features spacious kitchen, 4 bedrooms, and 4 baths, providing the ultimate luxury experience for your guests. Resort-style pools and a wide range of amenities. Don't miss out on this exclusive investment chance. Visit thenewcumberland.com for more information and secure your spot in this extraordinary community.
Oh, Charlie's, that's where you'll find me. That southern flavor got me saying, hey, y'all. Yum, yum, have some fun, share with the ones you love. Don't you wanna roll?
At O'Charlie's, we thought you'd enjoy a little country rock and rolls. The warm, buttery, delicious kind. served free with every meal. O'Charley's. Oh, that's good.
Yum, yum, have some fun. O'Charley's. Born in Nashville and it shows.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can do it now in less than a week. Hey, Willie Donick here. That's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. You don't even have to touch your primary mortgage. You can keep that 3% rate intact. Get just the money you need and pay off all those credit cards or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
It's Raymond and Austin. We're back on All-Star Sports Radio. Celebrating their 30th year, our sportsbook and casino sponsor, BetUS.com, is offering a 125% sign-up bonus plus up to 30 risk-free bets.
It's called Bet Protect, the perfect offer for crazy plays, like the famous butt fumble. It's the GOAT of embarrassing plays.
Really, remember when you bet me you could do a live show with a GOAT as your co-host, and he face-kicked you?
Thankfully, I didn't take the under on that one.
Anyway, folks, get Bet Protect today. The industry's biggest 125% sign-up bonus plus up to 30 risk-free bets. BetUS.com, where the game begins.
Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Give us a call on the phone line, sponsored by Wilson County Hyundai.
Yes, I'm looking for a friend of mine. Last name Jazz, first name Hugh.
615-737-1025.
Hugh Jazz. Chase and Big Joe are on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. He's Joe Dubin, Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe, also big, I guess. But joined now by John McClain, who joins us every Wednesday at 9:30 to talk the NFL. John, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Titans getting ready to take on the Cleveland Browns this week. And, you know, before we get into that matchup, I mean, the injury to Nick Chubb on Monday, one of the worst that I have seen. Obviously, there's been some bad ones over the years, but what were kind of your thoughts when you saw that go down?
One of the reasons I felt bad for the Browns is not just because Chubb's been a great player, but he's a great ambassador for the Browns and the NFL. He's gone through some bad times there since he got there from Georgia. They got him to the pick they got from the Texans, and he just means so much to the city. And now guys don't suffer career-ending knee injuries anymore. That's rare. They used to quite a bit. But, you know, I think he's got 1 year left in his contract at a little over $11 million, and they may have to next year, not knowing how soon he can come back or what level he comes back, that maybe they pursue another running back, and if they do, that could signal the end of his career in Cleveland. But it was just terrible all around. The Steelers fans, they always have had so much class, and they gave him a standing ovation and chanted his name. And I thought that says so much about the Pittsburgh and the Steelers fans that they would recognize an enemy the way they did.
What has been your thoughts to this point, Cleveland at 1-1, and Deshaun Watson specifically, somebody that you know well?
I keep up with Watson's career, not just because the Texans have another number one pick in that trade, the last number one. They may have another lower pick as well. And I understood he didn't play well last year because he'd missed 2021 with all his sexual assault civil suits, and then he struggled last year after the 11-game suspension. But I thought he would come back and he would look more like the quarterback he was in 2020. You know, the Titans saw him twice every year. They knew what he's capable of doing, and I'm stunned at how poorly he's played. Friends of mine in the media texted me back during training camp saying that what the Browns are putting out about Watson doing so well is not what we're seeing on a daily basis. And I told him, well, just hold your horses. He's going to get better. He's a great quarterback. I've seen it, and he hasn't. And when I watched him Monday night, I never saw him grab a face mask here, much less twice in a game and get 2 penalties. Never saw him shove an official. But it looks to me like he's still carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders, that he has put so much pressure on himself, knowing about the contract, $230 million guaranteed, the responsibility he has for the Browns. Kevin Stefanski's job is in his hands, and he looked like a guy who's just wound very tight and came unraveled very quickly, and that never happened here when he was a picture of calm throughout his career.
Talking to John McClain, sportsradio610.com is where you can find his work.
Well, John, let me get your thoughts on Ryan Tannehill on the outside looking in. Week 1, he's Jekyll and Hyde. Week 1, he looked like me playing quarterback. Week 2, he looked fantastic. What's the overall opinion on Ryan Tannehill outside looking in around the league?
Well, Joe, I've not seen you play quarterback, so I can't compare him to you. But as everybody knows, he was terrible. His rating was what? 23 or 27, and that's pathetic. And I think that the Titans, they had to be worried, even though they said all the right things publicly. And I know there was a huge sigh of relief on the part of a lot of people when they watched them win that game in overtime, and he didn't suffer an interception and helped them win. A lot better about it. Now, nobody's saying we got to have Malik Willis or Will Levis. And so I think that they're catching the Browns at a good time, coming off a short week, that there'll be a lot of depression in Cleveland over Nick Chubb's loss and the Browns being 1-1. And I think if you got to go on the road to play the Browns, this is the ideal time. One of the things that impressed me so much about the Titans always is Mike Vrabel's being there. They just shut down the run. And if Chubb were healthy, I still think they would have contained him, because they're so good at that. So we know after 2 games, 2 very close games, their defense is still really good, great against the run, and they're going to go as far as Tannehill and Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins and Treylon Burks and the rebuilt offensive line can take them. And I think that right now, watching the Jaguars, their defense played great against Patrick Mahomes, and they still lost. Trevor Lawrence was off target. I don't see any reason, based on what I've seen so far, that the Titans cannot compete with the Jaguars for the AFC South title.
John, let me get your thoughts on what they did Sunday, which Tim Kelly did a great job of putting Spears and Henry in the backfield at the same time. Can that work long time, having both those guys in there with the misdirection and the change of speed and everything? Your thoughts on those two guys kind of meshing in the backfield together?
Defenses catch up, and they're going to watch it. Tim Kelly knows that. Tim's a very creative offensive coordinator. He's the one who called plays and oversaw the offense in 2020 when Deshaun Watson had his best season, even though the team was awful. And Tim knows you've got to adjust. You know, you can't do the same thing over and over, and it's going to be fun. You know, he's got control of the offense this season, and I think fans should be excited about the possibilities, especially since Ryan Tannehill showed he's not ready to be put down the dumper this early.
Talking with John McClain, how much of Tim Kelly's evolution and success as a play caller can you credit to working with Bill O'Brien all those years?
Tim came with Bill O'Brien from Penn State, where he was a GA, and Tim started off in a closet that was barely big enough for him. They called it an office. He was always the first one there every morning. Players and others used to say, no matter how early they came in, Tim was always there. So he was hungry. And O'Brien told me several times early in Tim's career that he had everything it takes to be an NFL head coach. He also said that about Vrabel after his first season. And I said, you can already tell that about Mike Vrabel? He said, I can. And he said, New England people have been telling me that since Mike was up there and knew he wanted to be a head coach in the NFL. And so I think Mike gives Tim a lot of leeway. I think the offense is going to be not great. You know, their style, you guys know what that style is. They're not going to be throwing it all over the place. but they have enough weapons to do what Grable wants to accomplish, and it comes down, of course, to injuries and turnovers. And I can't wait to see what Kelly does as the offense evolves under his control.
John, one of the best items in the game on Sunday is somebody who's not going to be suiting up for the Browns, and that is Jim Schwartz, who spent the last couple of years here with the Titans staff, of course, former defensive coordinator for the Titans under Jeff Fisher. What does he bring to the game on Sunday that's unique after being here in the last couple of years with Mike Vrabel and most of this staff?
I've known Schwartz a long time. Did charity dinners up there with him for 8 years in a row when Jeff Fisher made the coaches come and participate, and got to see Jim behind the scenes when he was not as careful as he is when he's talking to the media. And I think the world of it. You know, I was hoping his head coaching experience would work out better, and right now that defense is playing great. If you look at Cleveland and you see the weapons they have on offense, you think, well, they're an offensive team. No. The Browns are a defensive team, and a guy like Myles Garrett is going to flourish. Not that he doesn't flourish anyway, but as long as he stays healthy, he's always going to be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. And Jim has always had exciting defenses that pressure the quarterback, and I don't think it's going to be fun from a defensive standpoint with the Browns because they have got it going on right now in a dominating way.
We will have more with the great John McClain coming up next as he joins us every Wednesday at 9:30. Again, Sports Radio 610 down in Houston. More with John next, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
He breaks down every game.
The players are still going to be fine.
And knows the ins and outs of the two-tone blue.
They deal with their own position coaches.
He is ESPN NFL Nation Titans reporter Teron Davenport.
It's clear what he's doing.
TD joins every Monday at 1, Thursdays at 3, Friday mornings at 8, and anytime on the Talkin' with TD podcast.
I think that's really cool how he could show both sides.
TD is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Attention all fire and safety line experts. Middle Tennessee's fastest growing fire protection company is looking for experienced service technicians, designers, and sprinkler system experts like you. Tired of working for a large corporate employer? Work for a company where you're more than just a number. Jarrett Fire Protection is owned and operated by Nashville natives and wants to invite you to grow with their amazing team.
Hi, I'm Jason Jarrett, owner of Jarrett Companies. I'm looking to hire experienced sprinkler experts and will offer a sign-on bonus of up to $5,000 for certified professionals. In addition to our great benefits that include a 401k match, PTO, and top pay with annual bonuses, we will also provide you with the top-of-the-line tools, trucks, and equipment that you need to grow your career. Our customer base is large and business is booming with many opportunities for advancement. Give us a call or go online to jarrettfire.com and apply today to become a member of our family and protect our community. That's JARRETT fire.com. Jarrett Companies, where we are above and beyond industry standards.
Football is back, and so are the deals at Electronic Express. Come into any of our convenient locations and save big on 4K TVs from your favorite brands like Samsung, LG, Sony, and more. Electronic Express has huge savings in every department. Computers, appliances, housewares, Bluetooth speakers, and more. Save up to 40% with up to 60 months special financing. Score amazing deals in-store or online at electronicexpress.com. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Hey folks, Joe Rexford here talking to you about PhD weight loss. I had a goal when I went into this program, losing 38 pounds, got down 39, then went past the 40 mark, but I'm in maintenance now, and maintenance is a fantastic plan as well. Keeping the weight off, losing the weight, no pills, no gimmicks, no other suppressants. This was a fantastic plan with a weekly coach call with my coach Rachel. You understand what is going on with your body in this process. The program is designed for you. Then it is tweaked for you. It is a plateau busting program. And if you've tried to lose weight on other programs, you know how it goes. You do it for a while, it might work, then you get sick of it, move on to something else. PhD weight loss does not give you that experience. You are going to stick with it. It's easy to stick with it, and then you're going to keep the weight off. You're going to know this is simple and easy. Again, you have a coach, and there's a guarantee. If you don't get within 5 pounds of your target weight at the end of your program, PhD will continue to coach you for free until you do. Join me now. You won't regret it. Visit myphdweightloss.com.
MVP's bonus days are back at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools and get 5 times the bonus points. Plus, right now, buy a DeWalt Power Stack battery kit and get a select DeWalt Bear tool free, up to a $249 value. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 9/18 through 9/29. Subject to change. DeWalt offer valid through 10/11.
Nashville Sounds Baseball lives on 94.9 The Fan. Catch every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Every hit.
That's a base hit.
Every run.
Looking up, it's gone.
On your home for Sounds Baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
You're listening to the Chase and Big Joe Show.
I could pull a better cartoon out of my ass. Hey, whoa! Wasn't that great, kids?
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
John McClain joins us, sportsradio610.com, every Wednesday at 9:30, talking NFL and the Titans. And, John, we were having this discussion earlier, and our morning show is having this discussion about where Derrick Henry's at in his career. What else does he need to do to have a Hall of Fame resume? He's about 1,500 yards shy of 10,000, which is obviously a mark he needs to get to. He's led the league in rushing 3 straight years in a point in his career. He's had a 2,000-yard season. Obviously doesn't have the ring, but when you look at that resume, what else do you need to see?
You don't need a Super Bowl ring to get in the Hall of Fame. There's a lot of players that don't have it. The way I've looked at it, and I've been on that committee for almost 30 years, is if you have won a Super Bowl or more, that should count. But if you haven't, I don't hold it against you because you're dependent on so many others. And Henry's got the resume, yes. He needs more than 10,000 yards. Eddie George has gotten more than 10,000 yards on his resume. But Derrick Henry's gotten a lot of attention, and I think that's good. And one reason he gets attention is because of his stiff arm. And that keeps him in the highlights. But I think he needs to get up over 12,000. There's always a lot of competition. And the reason he can do it is because he wasn't used up early in his career. And I look back every time he plays the Texans, and I do all those 200-yard games he's had against them. And going back at the start, he didn't do squat against them early in his career. But I think the more he's there and the more he's on the highlight shows, even though that shouldn't count, a lot of times it's the subconscious. And I think when 5 years after his career ends, hopefully not anytime soon, we'll see Derrick Henry as a serious candidate for the Hall of Fame.
Do you like that the Titans seem to be working in Tajay Spears as the second back and maybe in some ways taking some carries off of Derrick, even though he had 25 last week?
I think 25 is too much. To me, at this point of his career, unless you're running the clock to win, him touching the ball 20 times is good. Tim Kelly knows what he's doing about having a compliment to Henry, especially a guy that can catch, although I've seen Henry have several big catches and long runs to beat the Texans. They know what he's capable of doing, as does everybody. But if Tim Kelly and Mike Vrabel think that's what's best for the offense and Henry, I'm going to trust him.
Talking to the legend, John McClain. And, John, I value your NFL history and opinion over so many other people. And we'll go back to the Hall of Fame discussion again. Please explain to me why Too Tall Jones is not in the Hall of Fame.
Too Tall has been a senior candidate for years. His 20-year modern eligibility expired. And there's times he's been a finalist with a lot of discussion. Nobody ever says that a player doesn't deserve it. Never. I don't hear anybody in that room go, well, Too Tall Jones doesn't deserve it. As I tell everybody, especially Too Tall Jones, whom I know, is I tell them just be patient. There's been a lot of people who went in on the seniors committee, of which I am part of, and they thought their time was up. And he played for great teams, played opposite Harvey Martin, played on great defenses, and I couldn't tell you why he's not. But as I tell him, just be patient, never give up.
If a guy plays for an awful team and has a somewhat decent career, does that matter? And I'm talking specifically about Archie Manning, because I could see a scenario where Eli and him go at the same time, but Archie's numbers aren't that good. But John, as a fact, he played for some awful teams with the Saints and spent a couple years with the Oilers.
He did, and I've never heard Archie Manning and Hall of Fame mentioned in the same sentence. Peyton, of course, was a shoo-in. Eli won 2 Super Bowls. They say he made 2 great plays. Well, one of them, David Tyree, made the play. He did a fabulous job dodging the rush and just flinging it as far as he could. And so it'll be a big debate about Eli. But Archie has just never had any run. I've talked to Archie. I used to talk to him quite a bit, and he's never asked about it. But he's never been a candidate.
John McClain is with us. The Bengals are at 0-2 right now. Now, they did that last year, and, they've been slow out of the gate before, but with Joe Burrow and potential injury, how concerned should Bengals fans be right now?
When you see your starting quarterback on the sideline during a game, sitting on a bench with his leg propped over his knee, using some kind of massage instrument on that calf muscle, then that's cause for concern. I've looked at one of the analytics sites that's told about it, his time for dropping back to releasing the football, say, last year compared to this year, and he's not as fast. Not that he was ever fast, but the time has been reduced, showing that, yes, that calf muscle is bothering him. And the only thing that's going to help is R&R and a little TLC, and he's not going to have time for that till after the season. So right now that division is a disappointment, except for the Ravens, while the NFC South is shocking with 3 unbeaten teams. But it looks to me like it's going to be an issue for Burrow all season.
Let's go back to the NFC South for a second, and I know it's a small sample size, but the Falcons off to a 2-0 start. Are we buying into them just yet? Because Bijan Robinson's had a great start. Desmond Ridder looks good. Big fans of Arthur Smith here in Nashville. How do you see them playing out so far, John?
I think Arthur is such an innovative coach. He's learning how to use Bijan Robinson as a receiver and him with Tyler Algier, and they've got a lot of weapons. Now, nobody knows if Desmond Ridder is going to be very good, but they're trying to put him in a situation where there's not a lot of pressure on him. And I think we all know Arthur's a good coach. The 4 coaches there wouldn't have kept him if he wasn't. And I can't wait to see what happens when he actually gets a quarterback who has a chance to be terrific. And maybe that is Desmond Ridder, who also is a really good runner. I saw him play against the University of Houston in college. And I keep up with them because I picked them to be my worst first team since there's always a team or two that goes from worst to first in their division.
John, any thoughts on what happened Sunday night's game to the Patriots and the Dolphins with the Patriots blocking that field goal? Have you ever seen a play like that in the National Football League? Because I never have, where the guy sprints down the line of scrimmage, times it perfectly, and blocks the field goal.
I've never seen that. Now
that was awesome.
Everybody's going to be waiting for it.
Right.
But no, I've never seen anything like it. It was a great play. But now every team that is trying to protect for a field goal or an extra point is going to use that as something they need to focus on so they don't become the victim of it.
Yeah, no doubt. And also, Bill O'Brien and that offense, trying to get that going. Do you think Mac Jones is the answer there, or are they ultimately going to be looking again?
I want to see him play it out with O'Brien. O'Brien did a good job at developing Deshaun Watson here. He did a good job of helping to develop Bryce Young. Bill's always going to have his critics, and a lot of it is he's his own worst enemy because of his personality, but I like covering him, and the quarterback swore by it. He's a head coach, but he still spent a lot of time with him. He oversaw Tim Kelly's development from quality control, moving his way up assistant offensive line, tight ends, and then becoming the offensive coordinator. And I think he will get the most out of Mac Jones, but we still don't know. He was the best rookie 2 years ago. Last year, he took a step back. a lot of that, everybody thinks, is the coaches. You know, when you give a defensive coordinator and special team coach control the offense and the quarterback, you're doomed for bad things to happen. But if Jones doesn't take a big step forward under O'Brien, then they are going to have to start thinking about another quarterback.
John, last one for you, a little baseball for you. Your Astros are in a fight for their lives in the West, only half game up over Texas and Seattle. How do you see this playing out?
They suck. Nobody wants to win the AL West. They keep losing and losing. The Astros have lost series to the A's, the Royals. Now they're getting hammered by the Orioles, who are clearly better than them. And Seattle should win that division. They have 7 games against the Rangers, and they have 3 against the Astros. Astros' last 2 series at Seattle and Arizona, both fighting for the playoffs. It doesn't look good. They're just falling apart. And before I go, since you guys are the Predator station, I have a column on sportsradio610.com where there's no paywall, and I've tweeted it this morning a couple of times on the 50-year reunion of the Houston Aeros, the World Hockey Association, led by Gordie Howe, Mr. Hockey, and his sons, Mark and Marty. I covered those first 2 teams when I came to the Chronicle in 1976. There's a big 4-day reunion this weekend. I'll be there Thursday, and I wrote memories, and it's in that column. And anybody listening, I would appreciate it if you check it out, because it tells a lot about how I got started and what I have become. And guys, thank you very much for having me on every week.
Yeah, we will for sure check that out. Thanks as always, John. We'll do it again next week.
Thank you.
See ya, John McClain. SportsRadio610.com is where you can check that out. It is official. The Browns will sign Kareem Hunt to a 1-year deal, so he reunites with the team that he's played with for the last 4 seasons to replace Nick Chubb. I mean, look, I don't hate that move for them. He knows the offense, had 468 yards last year. I mean, he's been the second back behind Nick Chubb, but, you know, does he have more left in the tank to be a primary? We'll find out.
And that's the thing is now, the Browns will be, let's win one for Nick. I mean, that'll be kind of the attitude for them on Sunday. So it's something that Titans are in for a tussle up there on Sunday. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on that matchup that we can get into coming up next here on the Chase and Big Joe Show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
It's time for another Kubota Field event hosted by Coleman Tractor of Nashville. Our biggest sales event of the year will take place on Thursday, September 21st at the Nashville Gun Club during the Shooting Hunger Sporting Clays Shoot. Stop by our booth to learn all about Kubota. Zero-turn mowers, utility vehicles, and more. Take advantage of Kubota's competitive financing offers, receive a coupon for up to $250, plus enter to win prizes. Try it and buy it at Coleman Tractor of Nashville during the Shooting Hunger Sporting Clays Shoot at the Nashville Gun Club, Thursday, September 21st. The event kicks off at 7:30 a.m.
The Nashville Oktoberfest is quickly approaching, and now's the time to get your dirndls, Lederhosen, and Party Steins ready. From local breweries to live music and festival artisans, you can't go wrong celebrating this free family fun Germantown tradition. The Nashville Oktoberfest 2023, Thursday, October 5th through the 8th at Bicentennial Mall in Germantown. Prepare yourself for 4 days of brats, beer, live music, and competitions. VIP experience reservations are still available at thenashvilleoktoberfest.com. Prost, y'all!
Are you in the mood for authentic Chicago-style Italian food? Italian beef sandwiches, Vienna Chicago-style hot dogs? How about homemade pasta, chili, meatballs and marinara sauce, and more? Well, you need to check out this week's Nashville's Best Deal. Campione's at 401 Long Hollow Pike, Goodlettsville, Tennessee. Family-owned and featured on Tennessee Crossroads, this is delicious Italian-style food right here in Tennessee. Check them out now at thegamenashville.com/deals. Get half off now while supplies last.
All of us at 102.5 and 106.3 The Game want to recognize our active military, veterans, first responders, and educators with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the hearts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
This is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Now, your Game Center update.
This is Jake Lyman with your Game Center update on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. The Titans continue preparations for Sunday's Week 3 game in Cleveland against the Browns today and hope to have two key pieces of the secondary back in the lineup. Here's what head coach Mike Vrabel had to say on Monday about the status of Amani Hooker and Christian Fulton.
We'll see where they are, heading into Wednesday. I would say hopeful at this point in time, but just being Monday, Amani's got to pass through the protocol, and then we'll see where Christian's at.
The Predators hit the ice for their first practice of training camp tomorrow morning at Ford Ice Center in Bellevue, dropping the puck on the new campaign. The preseason opens with a doubleheader against Florida on Monday, which can be heard right here on 102.5 The Game. Tune in for Nashville Sounds baseball tonight on 94.9 The Fan as the Sounds take on the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp in the final series of the regular season. I'm Jake Lyman with your Game Center update on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 102.5 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Ross Chastain will be first to finish in the Ally 500 at Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 102.5 and 106.3.
Checkered flag is in the air. Man, this is a win in the cup race.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Let me talk to you. Talking what's important to Nashville.
Sweet mother of God, what is the holdup?
This is the Chase and Big Joe Show.
Well, Lottie frickin' God!
With Chase McCabe and Big Joe Dubin.
Good, great, grand, wonderful.
We're here on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe Show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. He's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. Jake Lyman on the ones and twos today. Dr. Crane with the day off. He'll be back with us tomorrow. Appreciate John McClain for joining us in the last hour. We'll have Rick Stockstill, our weekly conversation with him, MTSU's head football coach, at the bottom of the hour. But some thoughts, Joe, on the Browns and Titans matchup. Obviously, not having Nick Chubb is a big loss for their offense, but you still have to respect what Deshaun Watson can do, and I think he's, still kind of figuring that out. They're going to figure out the run game. With the Titans pass rush, though, I kind of like that matchup for them. That I feel like that if they can continue to get to the quarterback like they have in the first 2 weeks, they can slow down Deshaun Watson. Now, the difference is Deshaun Watson has more mobility than what they've seen in the first 2 weeks. So that's going to be a new wrinkle in things.
I'd go after him. I said it yesterday, really echoed it, and John McClain said it, just the urgency for Deshaun Watson. Yeah. Watching him Monday night, there was all right.
He does seem wound tight. I mean,
I didn't see that fire burning in him. So you put him on his butt a couple times early, take him out of what he does best, control the line of scrimmage. Titans win this football game. Let the defense do their thing, mix and match on the offense. Play the same way you did last Sunday, and you can knock him down. Of course, now the emotion is going to be high because playing for Nick Chubb and all that, but at also the same time, they're missing a hell of a running back. So take advantage of that and just go out and let those front four guys just pin their ears back and go after Watson and put him down verbally and physically on his butt, and then, talk trash, get in his head, everything else, and come out of there with a win.
I'm trying so hard not to make jokes right
Nope.
now. But I'm not going to do it. The other now here's a concern I have on the other side. We saw the Titans, the offense looked pretty good in the win against the Chargers. That Ryan Tannehill definitely rebounded, but the offensive line's still a question. I mean, and they got this guy named Myles Garrett on the Browns that would concern me quite a bit if I was Ryan Tannehill.
Put a guy that so you don't see Chig this week or the tight end who jumps off sides all the time, whatever.
Let's go.
Yeah. So I would put just chip him, put two of them. So what? I mean, some of these teams I have we're just, he's not going to factor our game. We'll put one guy on him. Quit saying that. If I'm Vrabel, we're going to put two guys. We might put three guys on him. You just never know. I mean, he's a great player. Don't say he's not a great player and say he's not going to determine what we do. Yeah, he is. Just say it. That'd be great. I want a coach to come out and say, we're going to game plan around him. We're going to put three guys on him, and we're going to make sure and all yada, 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 and do all that stuff like that because he is that front of the Browns is pretty good too. And that's the game. Who wins the line of scrimmage on Sunday is going to win this ball game. Also, who scores more points.
Yeah, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I saw that on the Unathletic from Rick Merritt.
Yeah, I mean, great NFL insider should follow him. I mean, he does a great job on that. That's his main thing.
The thing that I'm wondering about too is, we were talking with John about Tim Kelly, and I think Tim Kelly, even though they're 1-1, I think he's called good games. In the first two games, even the loss to the Saints. I mean. They were two touchdowns. He had two touchdown plays drawn up, and Tannehill missed them, and that's not on him. I think he called a pretty good game, and then obviously we saw the big plays to Burks and then Chris Moore last week. Can they keep drawing those up, or are now teams on to what they're trying to do with making the big chunk play? Because when they have that big chunk play, that's when the offense starts clicking.
Why can't they? I've never, with the first two plays of the game, they should put, Hopkins on one side, Burks on the other, have them run just post pattern straight down the field. All right. So the safety's got to drop off on one of them. All right. So it means you got one-on-one coverage on one of those receivers. Have Tannehill notice that and launch it deep. Yeah. I mean, take the chance. I mean that, and just throw as far as you can. His deep ball is fantastic.
It is
really good. So you give me one-on-one with Burks or one-on-one with Hopkins. That's 50-50, man. Just launch it down the field.
Well, I mean, even Chris Moore has shown you. I mean, I thought that was a great play because nobody was going to bite on Chris Moore. Nobody thought that Chris Moore was going to get the ball. And so they, I think I can't remember if Burks and Hopkins were also out there on that play. I'd have to go back and look. But it was almost like they had a decoy and then Chris Moore was going to be the guy and he was wide open. I mean, it was a great play.
It was.
And it was a great read by Tannehill.
It was, and his deep ball is fantastic. I just throw it all the time and let him get down the field and see what he could do. And it's been good since he's been here. That Saints game was just that, like, what in the world are we watching here?
I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but
you shouldn't.
I know, but I do think there's something to be said about the last three openers and just how clunky they've looked for the Titans. That them not getting a little more work in the preseason may have something to do with that. And if Mike Vrabel has decided that, I'm going to sacrifice that first game for the health of the team and the longevity of the team, then fine. That's a decision that he has the right to make.
Well, I think missing the joint practice for the 2 days against the Patriots.
I'll give you that too.
That's where you get the work in. I mean, the preseason game, I know you get all the bells and whistles and that goes on, but the work you get in with those joint practices is pretty good. And, they go those 2 days with the Vikings, but missing the Patriots from those 2 days was not good. But, it's now, remember in the 80s and 90s, like they all played those the third preseason game was like those guys would play into the second half. The fourth preseason game, you did nothing. And they got away from that because now there's invested so much money in these players. You don't want to lose. And it's like, we lost them to a meaningless game. We could also get hurt in practice. I mean, just don't go in the mindset of you're going to get hurt because you're going to get hurt if you have that mindset.
Does this receiving core for Cleveland intimidate you at all? David Bell, Amari Cooper, Marquise Goodwin, Elijah Moore, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and out of Tennessee, the rookie Cedric Tillman.
Kinda. I mean,
I think that is a group of potential.
Yes. Yep. I mean, you got with Amari Cooper. I mean, we know what he can do. And
yeah, I mean, he's pretty legit.
Cedric Tillman. What did Moss say about Cedric Tillman in the preseason? Said he's the best prospect wide receiver he's seen in 20 years.
Yeah. And look, I think Cedric Tillman is going to probably have the better career than Jalen Hyatt. between those two. Hyatt got a lot of praise last year. Tillman was hurt. Hyatt was doing some pretty spectacular things. But I like Cedric Tillman a lot as an NFL prospect.
He is, where did he get drafted? 3rd round pick. Oh, right before or after?
They both, yeah.
Hyatt there. I don't know. When Randy Moss is heaping your praise, well, then that's something else. That's a pretty good validation of how you are and what kind of talent you could be.
Yeah, and he hasn't really played yet. So, I mean, I think they're just letting him learn right now.
By the way, Tillman was born in 2000.
Yeah, I know.
Man.
I know that's probably worse for you than it is for me, but it kind of makes us both feel
right. Born in 2000.
Like I'm at this. I've hit that stage in life. I sneezed the other day and I pulled something in my neck.
You did. You called me and said that. I was like,
my neck
going
hurts.
on?
Yeah. I mean, like I was moving around like Frankenstein.
Stop sneezing. Then just hold it in.
I think I've sneezed once since, and it like scared me.
Well, or just if you're gonna sneeze, just make sure nobody's around and just let it. Don't hold it in. Just let it go. That's what I do. Nobody's around. Sneeze as loud as you can, and
I've heard you let some other things go too.
What? I'm gonna put up with that today.
Is that your announcer laugh? That was pretty good.
That's the fake laugh that you all have to have when you work in the corporate world.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
Hey, how's the weekend?
How's the family?
Things good?
615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. It's the Chase and Big Joe show. Make your silly underdog picks for your chance to win weekly prizes. You can play at thegamenashville.com or the 1025 The Game app, as well as we approach Week 4 of college football and Week 3 of the National Football League. Silly Underdog Picks is presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket here on 1025 and 1063 The Game.
He knows Nashville sports.
I love Clark Lee. He is a brilliant dude.
And he's not scared to tell it like it is.
They were atrocious on defense a year ago.
He is Outkick's Chad Withrow.
We really don't care. You're here. You signed a grant of rights.
Withrow joins Stillman and Company every Friday at 5. Brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
I know they were doing that for him to be the third-string quarterback in year one.
On 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Tennessee, when you bet on Zen Sports, the new sportsbook in town, you get the best reward possible. Cold, hard cash. You bet with your own money, so why accept anything less from your rewards program? With Zen Sports, you earn cash on your bets, cash on your referrals bets, and a welcome bonus. You guessed it, cash. So stop settling for Vegas rewards when we're in Tennessee. Cash in your old sportsbook for Zen Sports. Your wallet will thank you later. Zen Sports. Betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and up and in Tennessee to bet. Come try Calabria Brick Oven Pizzeria. Their pizza is cooked to perfection, but that's not all they're known for. Try one of their delicious appetizers, salads, fresh calzones, and they have a full bar and dessert. Calabria has been a Mount Juliet staple for 7 years now and has a new location in the heart of Goodlettsville off Long Hollow Pike. Come join the family at Calabria. After all, life's too short to eat bad pizza.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about two things. The one-of-a-kind wood-fired flavor of a Traeger Ironwood XL grill. And football. That's right, Desmond Howard. Get fired up for the game in just a tap with Traeger's intuitive touchscreen. Then throw on your favorites and monitor the grill from anywhere with Wi-Fi technology. So you spend less time staring at the grill, which means more time for football. For football. Upgrade your Saturday with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Play ball!
94.9 The Fan is your home for Hit City.
Tonight, your Nashville Sounds continue their 6-game series at First Horizon Park against Jacksonville.
Gloves, grabs, guns, gets them, and the Sounds win again.
Pre-game at 6:20.
Nashville Sounds baseball on 94.9 The Fan and the Fan app.
This is the Chase and Big Joe Show.
I wish you could just shut your big yapper.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, tune in to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game this Saturday at 6 o'clock for our college football game of the week. Arkansas taking on LSU, presented by Twin Peaks. Take your tailgate to Twin Peaks for scenic views of all the hottest college football games across the country. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin with you on this Wednesday. And yes, we do have to address, I was off Monday and Tuesday, and a bet is a bet, and I lost fair and square because Tennessee played like absolute doo-doo.
Yep.
And they lost to Florida, and so I owe you lunch.
Yeah, you do. So what I'm a nice guy.
You are.
But we're going to roll it to double or nothing.
Okay.
All right. And so our double or nothing game this week is Ole Miss at Alabama. And you think Ole Miss wins the game?
I do. I like Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is right now playing like a better team than Alabama.
Okay. Straight up.
Straight up, yeah, no points.
So I think Saban gets it done again. I think he pulls something out of this football team on Saturday that was not there.
Jalen Milroe going to be the starter again.
I think that is just he's my starter. Here's what's going to happen. You put that to rest, and you blame Saban for that because the famous quote when you got two quarterbacks, you got none.
Right.
So I just think Alabama gets it done.
And
it's
they
at
got
home.
three.
And they got three quarterbacks. Yeah. So I think you put that to rest. You ride one guy. Give him the confidence this week, and he comes out and he plays a heck of a game. So Alabama wins, so you'll owe me 2 lunches.
So you think this was kind of a Jedi mind trick by Saban, maybe?
I think he was trying to appease people, in which he never does. Like, let's play him, and make people happy. Because this whole world, the transfer portal now and everything, and to see what you got happening there, because guys getting redshirted is not really going to happen anymore because they're going to be gone. So I think he's like, let's see what happens, and he feels like that Jalen Milroe was the best opportunity, and maybe some of the coaches came to him and the players said, hey, let's ride with him and see what we got going on here, and that's what we'll do. But I think they beat Ole Miss on Saturday.
Bama, a 7-point favorite in Tuscaloosa, but Ole Miss coming in at 3-0, Bama at 2-1. So there we go. That's our double or nothing, and so. It's on CBS. So I learned this week because I was confused on this. I thought that CBS had Big Ten now. And
I don't know what's going on.
And apparently this is the last year that they still have some of the SEC, and then things kick into to ESPN.
So that's the 2:30 game?
Yeah. So CBS still has this game.
Do you know that is also the same time you go to the dentist at 2:30?
Why is that?
Come on, man. Tooth hurty.
Oh.
If you'd like to use that joke today, please. You have 24 hours to use that joke. After that, don't. Even
that was
Jake,
awful.
Even Jake, even Jake liked it. So
I understood it.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that.
Sonny says I liked Ole Miss to win until Chase picked them to win. Thank you.
But Ole Miss went down. They went on the road and beat Tulane.
Yep.
Georgia Tech's now. I mean, that's a Power 5 program. Not a bad team. Not the greatest team, but they beat them as well.
I just, you know what else too? Like I like Lane. I'm bought into Lane Kiffin. I mean, I know what he is. He's full of it like a lot of them are, but he's entertaining. I think he's a good offensive mind. He's not the best coach in college football, but I mean, he's made it work, and people are paying attention to Ole Miss because of who he is.
I think he's grateful to be back.
Yeah, I do too. And he's grown up. I mean, in some ways. I think he's grown up.
Maybe.
Some ways.
I just see him walk around campus during the day. Hey, ladies, what's happening? Coming to the game on this Saturday? Yeah. But I just think he's grateful to be back. But I still think Saban,
he's still daddy.
I still think I got nothing to go on this. I think Saban's done after this year. I really do believe he's done after this year. So now you go out swinging. I mean,
and let me tell you, if that is true, Lane will be all over that job.
Oh, I think
he won't get it.
Yeah,
but he'll be all over that job.
Oh,
I thought for a long time it was going to be Dabo, but I think the stock is lowered on Dabo.
What was the ventriloquist dummy on The Simpsons? Gabbo.
Gabbo.
Yeah. Maybe Gabbo. Maybe that.
I love that episode when Krusty tries to do it and the mouth falls off and the kids are screaming.
Oh yes, Gabbo. But no, I don't. I mean, he could do it, but I think Saban walks into the saloon and starts throwing haymakers on people. That's what happens here.
It's a pretty good matchup or good slate of games this week in the SEC. Obviously, Kentucky's here to take on Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt coming off a bad loss to UNLV. I mean,
that's
there's no other
awful
loss. Those are ones you can't have.
Clark Lee can draw that up and talk about how any way he can. That's a bad loss.
And look, I heard him say it. I mean, look, and I respect and I like Clark Lee, but you know, if you had come out of that non-conference stretch at 3-1, I would have been okay with that. I mean, I think everybody would have signed up for that. You know, Wake Forest. I don't think they've played. This is what worries me. I don't think Vanderbilt has played all that well in their first 4 games. Obviously, they have 2 losses to show for it, but even in the wins, like Hawaii, it kind of took them a while to get going. Alabama A&M, it took them a while to get going. You can't have that. And now the SEC schedule starts, and I think we're still trying to figure out exactly what Kentucky is, but
they're 3-0.
They're 3-0, and they're almost a 2-touchdown favorite.
Are they really?
On the road?
Also, we'll be in this studio. At least I will be rooting for Auburn to beat Texas A&M on Saturday. That's an 11 a.m. start.
I think that Auburn's an interesting one too with Hugh and.
But Chris Dory didn't think that win over California was anything.
I don't know. They're 3-0.
I agree, but anytime
but this is a good test for them.
Anytime Jimbo could lose is even better. So I still think if they don't make a bowl game, or even go 6-6, I think they buy him out.
Who did A&M lose to?
Miami.
Oh, Miami. Yeah, that's right. So that one's going to be interesting. Obviously, Ole Miss, Alabama. UTSA, which I think is a pretty good team, goes to Knoxville to take on Tennessee. That they plummeted in the rankings, now at 23.
Largest drop of any team in the top 25.
Yeah, I mean, they should have. Arkansas LSU Saturday night has my attention.
I think LSU runs. Arkansas lost to BYU. I think LSU runs away with that.
Charlotte goes to Florida.
Which, the Spider or the school?
What?
Come on, man. Charlotte's Web.
Oh, sorry. I'm not in dad joke mode
That's
now.
all right. It's not a dad joke. It's a Joe joke.
No, it's a Joe joke.
But when I say something like that, you got to come back with that.
yeah. Just give me the crusty laugh.
On the spot.
Georgia and UAB.
What? Who's Georgia playing now?
Dilfer.
UAB?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep.
Kirby?
Yep.
So they're
42-point favorite.
They're non-conferences: Ball State, UAB, Georgia Tech, and UT Martin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And with the caveat of you have to play like another Power 5 school, Georgia Tech fulfills that. So
it does. That's the rule.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I feel like too, like, you know, you watch Georgia and I don't know if this is just Georgia fans are bored now and they just need something to nitpick, but it's like I read things and I hear things of like, man, they just don't look the same. And it's like, how do you even know?
Well, I mean, they lost
but I mean, South
guys.
Carolina gave them a game. Like I thought South Carolina had an opportunity they did have an opportunity to win that game.
Here's a weird game on Saturday. It's not a Power 5, but Sam Houston at Houston. Just on the name itself. Just follow me here.
I am sorry. Jake was talking to me.
No, I'm that's fine. But Sam Houston at Houston.
Okay. Just because it's Houston and Houston?
It is. Is
that a law firm? The law firm of Houston and Houston?
Should be, right?
McLean, Houston, and Houston?
By the way, Middle finishes the season at Sam Houston Thanksgiving weekend. A little tie into what's coming up.
Yeah, that was good. And then wrapping up the SEC, Memphis and Missouri.
Memphis.
Both 3-0 teams. Missouri's been sneaky.
That game is in St. Louis at the whatever the dome that's called now.
It is at the Dome. The Dome at America's Center.
Is that what that's called? That means we don't have a sponsor. So if you'd like to sponsor that dome up there in St. Louis, you can.
And then Mississippi State heads to Columbia to take on South Carolina. South Carolina at 1-2.
Mississippi State, man, they just, I know Mike Leach and all that. It just, they don't feel the same.
That was tough though. What's going to happen? Speaking of, before we get to Rick Stockstill, Colorado State, emotional loss,
double overtime.
Probably should have won that game.
Oh yes.
Let it get away. Maybe the trash talking and some of the mind games. backfired on them.
Well, you hope that the mindset of Colorado State's like, where's Murfreesboro?
Yeah.
The only thing is MTSU smacked them around pretty good last year, beat them pretty good in Colorado
MTSU's
State.
a home favorite.
Yeah, so they beat them last year up in Colorado State, but you hope that Colorado, and we'll talk to Coach Stocksler in about 10 minutes, that they're just emotionally drained. They're emotionally drained because of what they left on the field, and the fact is, you made a good point, they should have won that football game. They lost an 11-point lead in the fourth quarter and allowed them to come back. And now the death threats against the Colorado State player who took out Travis Hunter is going on. Dion addressed that yesterday. So there's a lot of emotion involved. Plus, it's homecoming at MTSU this weekend.
Yeah.
And, Chaser, again, you were on the homecoming court. Proud of you.
Thank you.
7 years in a row, man.
I know. Isn't that cool?
7 years
maybe
in a
I'll
row.
be the king.
7 years in a row. Yes, your job is to pull make sure the gown doesn't get caught. The train doesn't get caught.
It's homecoming at FRA and MTSU.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Are you being honored at FRA?
No.
Let's slide and say you are. Let's do it again.
Yes.
You being honored at FRA?
Sure am.
There you go.
Unveiling
well,
my
you
picture.
deserve to be, Chaser.
Unveiling my picture, in a back hallway.
Please let it be the same picture of George Costanza on the couch.
It is, actually.
Where he's doing that.
It
Or
is.
Kramer, whichever one. I'll take George Costanza on the couch, though, in your
But the Kramer is so good.
It's fantastic.
Like, I've always wanted to find one of those and hang it above my fireplace.
Oh, it's still great. And it's funny because we all got lost in the office during COVID.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Seinfeld still beats The Office.
Absolutely.
It's close. It's a close
They're
call.
both great.
Yes.
But in their own rights, but Seinfeld, like, you're going all-timers. And, like, I put The Simpsons up there, too. I was telling you that, I was kind of, had some family stuff going on, and I watched The Simpsons last night. It made me laugh.
That's the point. If those shows make you laugh, take you away from what you're worried about for a little bit. But, yeah, I want to
Burns
see
opening a casino.
But I want to see that. You pose like – I don't want to really see it, but you give that to FRA. You posing like Costanza.
Oh, well, we'll see what we can do there. Coming up next, Rick Stockstill, MTSU head football coach, going to join us. We'll get his thoughts on their win against Murray State and also their matchup against Colorado State coming up this weekend. That's next, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
If it's important to Nashville,
I'll put it out right now.
it's important to Jared Stillman.
Like, that's it.
He's not afraid to ask the tough questions.
Something is going on, and the question is, what does it mean?
Or give the strong opinion.
And just needed the bozo offensive coordinator to stop ruining the quarterback.
Stillman and Company. Weekdays at 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The two most sought-after, most prestigious names in bridal jewelry come together for one epic event this weekend at Genesis Diamonds.
Tacori and Viraggio, the world's premier designers, are showing off their entire collections. All the latest designs, many showcased for the first time ever, with up to $5,000 in savings.
Everyone loves Tacori, meticulously crafted by master artisans in their California design studio. Discover the hidden details and exceptional quality that sets Tacori apart. There's always more than meets the eye with Tacori. Come explore the entire Tacori collection, including all new Tacori fine jewelry, earrings, bracelets, eternity bands, pendants, and more.
If you're engagement ring shopping, this is a once-a-year event you can't miss. Other jewelers aren't even allowed to carry these iconic American-made brands.
Also for this event, Genesis is showcasing an expanded selection of GIA-certified diamonds in all shapes and sizes.
Come join us and take advantage of special incentives, zero-interest financing, and as much as $5,000 in savings. This Friday through Sunday, only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. This is your dentist. Do me a favor and feel the front of your teeth. How grimy are they?
Ugh.
It's time for a Crest Pro Health reality checkup. That grime is the buildup of plaque bacteria that can cause cavities in just months. You need to switch to Crest Pro Health. While most toothpaste stop working in minutes, Crest Pro Health's antibacterial fluoride protects for up to 12 hours to stop cavities before they start. So pick some up on the way home. Smile. Crest has you covered.
Hey, if you missed our show, you can get it on demand. Just search for the Chase and Big Joe Show podcast on Apple, Spotify, or any podcast platform.
Chase and Big Joe are on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McKay, Big Joe Dubin with you on this Wednesday. Coming up Saturday in Murfreesboro, MTSU will be having homecoming, as Joe said, and hosting Colorado State. We'll have coverage for you beginning at 5 here on 93.3 Classic Hits. We say hello to Rick Stockstill, their head football coach, on with us. Coach, congrats on the win. How are you?
I'm great. Chase, Joe, how you guys doing?
We are doing fantastic. You finally got to come back home to Floyd Stadium and take on Murray State. What was it like having the home opener?
It was good, really appreciative of all the fans and everybody that, came out there. We had a little bit of weather concern, there in that 4 or 5 o'clock range, but they braved it and stuck it out, and the rain, held up until there late in the fourth quarter. So it's always good to play at home. It's always good to play in front of a bunch of people that are cheering for you instead of booing you. And, so it was a good start.
And what is kind of now that you're through 3 games, you've gotten a view of obviously your offense, your defense, how everything is clicking. Where do you feel like your team is at this point?
I think we're still evolving. We're because of the amount of injuries we've had so many new people or different people in at different positions. So I think we're still evolving. We got handed it to us pretty good at Alabama, and we hung in there and, almost pulled it out the next week against Missouri. And then, we played, got a win Saturday. So as the competition gets better week to week, well, I don't know, it didn't get better from Alabama, Missouri to Murray, but now as you get into your conference play and, Colorado State this week, they're a lot better than what Murray State is or was. And, we just got to continue to improve. You've got to have a competitive mindset, the competitive maturity, the accountability to look at yourself and be honest. And this is where I need to improve. This is what I did good. I got to continue to build on it. And I think we'll continue to do that throughout the year.
We're talking MTSU head football coach Rick Stockstill. And, Coach, after the Missouri game, I sensed a very angry football team that you had. But let me ask you this. It's a game you probably should have won up in Missouri. Missouri beats a top 20 team in Kansas State. Does that make you – I know the answer, and I don't know why I'm asking this. Does that make you feel a little bit better about the performance you guys did? You took Missouri all the way down like that, and to have them come back the next week and beat a top 20 team, does it make the effort what you guys did a little bit better?
Yeah, I think, it just – one, I think we could have won that game. I don't know if we should have won it. But we had chances, and, it reinforces, the message when you tell them that we're a good team and you're 0-2, sometimes it's hard for young people to believe that and, or understand that. And, I told them we got a good team, and it just hadn't shown up in the win column yet. And so when you take a SEC team to the last 3 minutes of the game, and then the next week they upset the number 14 or 15 ranked team, it just kind of reemphasizes my message to them. So we got a good team. Once we get everybody back, we'll be a lot better team.
You take on Colorado State Saturday night. You beat them last year out in Colorado. I know you watched the game. It's an emotional loss for Colorado State, a game they probably should have won. Is that an ideal situation for your football team to have this Colorado State team come in here, lose in double overtime, emotionally drained? Does that help out at all or zero?
I don't think so, Joe. I mean, just, you can look at it, look at us last year. I mean, we got beat by James Madison the first game. We have to fly all the way out there. So were they saying the same thing? And, so we know they're hungry to get their first win. They've played 2 really good teams to start the season off. They've already had their open date. So, there's probably some redemption factor, from that's stuck in their crawl from last year. So, we know we're going to get their best shot. It doesn't matter if they'd beat Colorado or lost in double overtime. We know what kind of team we're going to face this weekend.
You have on your football team, you've had 15 different guys have caught a football pass this season. Do you like that, getting everybody involved in the offense that way?
Well, Joe, I think you can look at it in two ways. I think, one, Nick has done a really good job of seeing the field and distributing the ball to the open guy. The other part of that is, we've got a lot of good receivers. We're playing a lot of receivers. We're playing a lot of backs. So therefore, more people are getting an opportunity to play and to catch balls. So I think it's twofold. I think it's a little bit of, Nick really playing at a high level, and two, we're playing so many people right now that more people have an opportunity. We don't have a guy that's caught, like Horton for them, number 14, caught 16 balls against Colorado. We don't have that guy. We've got, 5 guys that are catching 3 balls to get to 15.
Talking to Rick Stockstill, head coach, MTSU. I don't know if you've even looked at this, because I'm sure it's one game at a time for you, but this is your last game on a Saturday until November because of the way the Conference USA schedule works. You'll have a short week against Western. So how much does that kind of change the flow of your week schedule when things move to midweek?
Well, I promise you I've thought about it, because that's all it seems like I did more of that this summer than anything, just trying to plan for this schedule and the wear and tear it's going to take on your body, and when to practice, how long. I mean, part of this week's thought process is, well, we got a game after this in 5 days. You play Western Kentucky, so part of your preparation for Colorado State is also, making sure that we're prepared, we're fresh, ready to play Colorado State. But in the same respect, you've got to know that, hey, it's a 5-day turnaround. You're playing again. Then it's a 4-day turnaround. Then it's a 6-day turnaround, and then it's a 7-day turnaround. Then you go 18 days and not play. So it's a dadgum, pain in the butt, to be honest with you. And I worry about the health and, the safety of, and we're not the only one that's going to go through it. Every Conference USA team is going to go through it. But, I've got my concerns about, is this the right thing to do for, the MAC does it, but they do it the last, 3 weeks, 4 weeks of the season. And it's, on a set, all of them have an open date before they start their midweek games, and then they play on a Tuesday and the next Tuesday, a Wednesday and the next Wednesday. So, it's a lot different than what we're having to go through.
And the way I look at it, and I would assume this, Coach, that the conference looks at it as, okay, we can get more eyeballs on our schools by playing on a Wednesday night or a Tuesday night and being, essentially the only game in town. But I certainly share your concerns of, from a health and safety standpoint for the players, is that worth it?
Yeah, and that's the question. Yeah, we're going to get more eyeballs on us. But, the NFL, those guys that play on Sunday and then they have to play on Thursday, how much they complain about it? Well, we're getting ready to do it for a month. We're doing it for 4 weeks in a row. And that's the concern for me, because there's such a emphasis in college athletics, the health and safety, welfare of college athletes, that are we, really doing the right things from a health, safety, and welfare standpoint for them? Because, it's not like, you're playing basketball or baseball where, if they bump into you, they call a foul. Now you gotta run your 300-pound body or Joe's 300-pound body into another man's 300-pound body and do it over and over, 5 times in 25 days.
Yeah, and I know it is a concern, but, individually with some of your players on the team, I like that you're going to battle with a guy like Sam Brumfield. I mean, Conference USA Defensive Player of the Week. He's been fantastic, Coach, the last 2 weeks. Talk about this young man and what he's done and what he's brought to this defense.
Love Sam. Joey's played really well. When Jonathan Butler went down in the Alabama game, he became a starter for us and has really done a great job the last 2 weeks. And he got here in January. Just a phenomenal young man, very humble, very appreciative, works his tail off, whether it's in the weight room, whether it's in practice, whether it's in school, does everything right. I love this kid. And he's got a great competitive spirit. He's tough. I love the physicality of him. He's smart. I can't say enough good things about him, and had a great game last week, very deserving of Conference USA Player of the Week, and he's got a high ceiling ahead of him.
I know you touched on Nick Vadiato a little bit at the beginning of that, of how he's seeing the field. Real good game on Saturday. I love it. I know you hate this, but I love it when a play breaks down and Nick gets out of the pocket because, Coach, he makes things happen, and I've seen it now for 3 games.
Yeah, he's a lot better athlete than what people might think. And he's gotten a lot more confident in his running ability. His freshman year and then last year, the little bit he played, I don't think he was as confident as he needed to be, but now he's playing every snap, and he's got a lot of confidence. He's doing a really good job of understanding down and distance. He's gotten outside and thrown it away. He's gotten outside and run the ball. He's gotten outside and slid, and he's got outside and kind of, put his body on the line a little bit and got a first down for us. So a lot of respect for Nick and how he's playing right now.
Well, Coach, best of luck this weekend against Colorado State. We appreciate the chat as always, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Appreciate you guys. Have a great week.
You too. Coach Rick Stockstill joining us, MTSU, and they take on Colorado State coming up this Saturday.
Should have asked him about you in the homecoming court.
We should have. Can I finish the promo?
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
You can listen to Chip Walters and Big Joe Dubin starting at 5 on 93.3 Classic Hits as MTSU takes on Colorado State. I wanted to ask him another question about the short weeks, but I didn't want to get him in trouble.
Oh, what question's that?
I wonder how much sports betting has influenced some of these, because you hear about Maction, the Maction,
yeah,
and that it's the only thing to bet on, when they have their portion of the schedule from a football standpoint, and how much that's influenced that a little bit.
That's a good question, but
I didn't want to ask him.
He would have said no comment there.
Yeah, right.
Senator.
But I have wondered that. How much
they are. I mean, that's a great question you gave them because they are. I mean, there are concerns. You're playing Tuesday, Wednesday, and a Thursday. It's just I'm not a fan of it, but nobody asked me, and I understand it. But the Tuesday game is odd, and then you go 17, 18 days. And what I don't like about it is that you lose the game day experience as a fan.
Yeah.
Because one of those games, like the game at Western's at 6. So if you're a Middle fan, you won't take your kids to go up there on a Saturday, spend a whole day up there and go to Bowling Green. And now it's just, you're like, I got the kids.
It's an hour away, but on a Thursday night.
Yeah, it's just – but nobody's asking us.
No.
Maybe they should ask us.
So because it's the TV networks have a lot to do with it too. But so anyway, just an interesting discussion for sure. Coming up next, we'll put a bow on things and also celebrity birthdays, America's fastest growing game
by far.
How did Junie and
they were awful.
Okay,
absolutely awful.
Cool. So I'll look to.
That's okay, but they're young. I mean,
yeah, that's fine.
But
that's good. Yeah, I was laughing at the TV themes yesterday. Junie didn't know anything.
He didn't. What is Three's Company?
Oh, a great show. That's what it is.
No, they're great.
So we got that coming up next here on the program. And before we do that, let's give away a VIP pair of tickets to the Nashville Oktoberfest on October the 8th. Caller number 2 at 615-737-1025 will win those VIP tickets. VIP includes 1-liter beer stein, a huge all-you-can-eat buffet. Joe loves that. Private seating and luxury bathrooms with air conditioning. That's good. So 615-737.
How long you put on being in there, man?
1025. It depends on who it is. 615-737-1025. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 106.3 The Game.
New home. New energy. Same Blue Raiders.
99 yards! Touchdown, Middle Tennessee!
Catch every game for MTSU on 93.3 Classic Hits. Coach Rick Stockstill is poised to lead his team to yet another bowl appearance.
We're really excited about this opportunity.
Your home for the Blue Raiders is 93.3 Classic Hits and the Classic Hits app.
It's time for another Kubota Field event hosted by Coleman Tractor of Nashville. Our biggest sales event of the year will take place on Thursday, September 21st at the Nashville Gun Club during the Shooting Hunger Sporting Clays Shoot. Stop by our booth to learn all about Kubota. Zero-turn mowers, utility vehicles, and more. Take advantage of Kubota's competitive financing offers, receive a coupon for up to $250, plus enter to win prizes. Try it and buy it at Coleman Tractor of Nashville during the Shooting Hunger Sporting Clays Shoot at the Nashville Gun Club, Thursday, September 21st. The event kicks off at 7:30 a.m.
Hey, it's Jared for PhD Weight Loss. I love the PhD Weight Loss program, and I am continuing to blow past the numbers. That's right. I'm getting close to my maintenance stage, and I did it all while enjoying the summer and traveling on vacation. But now that it's football season, I'm able to lock in on my nutrition thanks to the PhD Weight Loss program. I feel so much better about being in control of my weight, and I get excited when I continue to see my progress. And what's great is that PhD Weight Loss provides you 85% of the food at no added cost. That's no pills, that's no injections, that's no crazy workout program, but it is simple nutrition that they help you through. If you're someone who has struggled to lose weight, go online to myphdweightloss.com and check it out for yourself. You can learn about the program, the coaching, and of course, their guarantee. If you don't get within 5 pounds of your target weight by the end of your program, PhD will continue to coach you for free until you do. That's PhD Weight Loss online at myphdweightloss.com.
C10 Nationals, the world's largest Chevy and GMC truck event, is coming to the Nashville Superspeedway September 29th and 30th. Packed with vendors and activities, autocross, swap meet, dyno, drag race, and more. Daily tickets $20 at the gate, and parking is free. More info at c10nationals.com.
In any work environment, the culture is the most important thing. And what makes up the culture? The people. Hey, this is Sean Fort, General Manager of Cromwell Media, and this month we want to highlight a few of our employees celebrating their anniversary. We have 2 members of our sales department, Jeff Kolb celebrating 12 years, and Matt Saggio celebrating 11 years with Cromwell Media. We also want to highlight Tina Jackson in our HR department, celebrating 2 years. Thank you all for making this a great place to work. If you're looking for a new career or just somewhere fun to work, send us a resume to together at cromwellmedia.com. Love what you do, love where you work.
Just a minute, don't hang up.
Hey, we want to hear from all of you. Give us a call or text at 615-737-1025.
Hello. You'll have to speak up. I'm wearing a towel.
Our phone line driven by Wilson County Hyundai.
Chase and Big Joe are on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. He's Big Joe Dubin, Chase McCabe with you. Jake Lyman on the ones and twos today. Nick Frazier, Dr. Crane will be back with us tomorrow. Appreciate Rick Stockstill. Look, good discussion on the midweek games, and they're not the only conference doing it. Some of these group of 5 conferences are doing it, and from a getting eyeballs on your product standpoint, okay, maybe that does help. But at the same time, like if you're watching, 3rd and 4th string guys because the schedule has beat up your starters, I mean, what good is that?
Exactly. And I got to give, I know it's going to happen eventually, but the fact that NFL has not crashed a Friday night now during the season, during the high school football season, it is something. I mean, I got to say thank you because they eventually will. They'll take over a Friday night. They just will. I mean, they might do it when the high school, like in December, January, or something like that. But just stay away from. Just all of you people, stay away from Friday nights. Just let high school have their one night.
Yeah,
just stay away.
Yeah, but I mean, unfortunately, the ESPNs and CBS Sports Networks and FS1s aren't going to listen to you.
They're not.
That, you know, but
I'll be making a few calls. I've got a college football insider that I rely heavily on, Rick Merritt from the Unathletic.
How does he have so much time to cover all this stuff?
He's like the John McClain of college football. I mean, he just has contacts.
But I mean, he covers the NFL, college football.
He's well-rounded.
Horse racing.
He's like a pear. He's well-rounded. So he's
rounded.
So he's in the ear of some people that he knows what's going on. Are you ready for America's favorite game?
You know, I am. Let's do it.
Are we get Jake to play?
Yeah, let's have Jake play.
Okay.
Let's do this.
All right, Jake, first of all, how old are you?
I am 23.
Oh, Lord. All right, here we go.
I don't think you're supposed to ask that.
Why not?
Maybe I'm not supposed to ask
you know, I can. Jake, I remember 23. I didn't know anything, but yet I thought I knew everything. All right. First birthday is actress Sophia Loren.
What was she in?
She, I had a great joke, but I don't get fired. She's a lot of movies back in the day.
72.
68.
89.
Okay.
I'll tell you the joke off air.
Okay.
George R.R. Martin. He wrote one of those little medieval Middle Earth movies, or
he wrote Game of Thrones, the books that it was based on.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
I don't watch Game of Thrones, so I don't know.
68.
I'm gonna go 76.
75.
Nice.
Thank you. See, I mean, we work as a team here. My young friend here told me who George R. I knew he did something Middle Earth or something like that. That went on. Actor Ricky Bobby's dad, Gary Cole.
Ooh.
Which is a great. The movie in there, but the first 15 minutes when he's in that movie and makes me laugh.
Gary Cole.
He also played Mike Brady in the movies.
67.
63.
67 exactly.
Boom.
Chase McCabe. Googling names. Well done,
I did
buddy.
not.
Kristen Johnson. She was in Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh, yeah.
She's also in Austin Powers. I'm not going to say her character's name because I like this job a lot. So
was it a lot of?
Uh-huh.
Okay. 59.
62.
56. Actor John Bernthal. He was in Walking Dead. He was Rick's best friend at the beginning who ended up with his wife and he got killed. He's also in the Brad Pitt movie with the tanks, Fury, I think it was. Yeah. He's in a bunch of other things too.
57.
52.
47.
Okay.
Singer Philip Phillips, who somebody told me lives here in Nashville, former American Idol winner. It's like Chase Chaser. Oh, that's a good name for you.
I'm chasing, all right. 40.
I'll go 36.
33, Jake, on the outside looking in. Close there. All right, let's
tied at 1.
Some more here, people that we think are famous but I've never heard of. The Nelson twins. How old are they? Gunnar and Matthew Nelson.
What do they do?
They're Ricky Nelson's son. The Blondes, the twins.
Okay.
Ricky Nelson. Mark Harmon's nephew.
Yeah.
I Can't Live Without Your Love and Affection.
62.
Okay.
66.
56. Okay. Rapper Young Joe. How old is Young Joe today?
How old are you, Joe?
I am mentally or physically? Because they're far on the spectrums.
Young Joe, 41.
I'll go younger because he's young, 32.
43.
Oh.
Chase has a 2-1 lead over the young man. Let's see.
Jake. His name is Jake.
Jake. But not from State Farm.
Yeah.
Let's see here. There was a wrestler that was born today. Hold on. Hold on. Don't go anywhere, Chase. You're up 2-1 right now. I'm nervous as I'm looking up this one birthday here. Did you have a good trip to Atlanta?
Yeah, it was good. It was nice.
Did you go to the Braves game?
Sure did.
Who did they play down there?
The Phillies.
They play that one team?
Yeah, that one team named the Phillies that I hate.
Okay.
They play here in a few minutes.
Don't hate. Dislike. It's strong. Okay, wrestler. This is the last one. 2 wrestlers. Arn Anderson. How old's Arn Anderson today?
The Enforcer, I'm going to say 73.
65.
65 exactly.
Oh, nice.
So here it is, the last birthday, Greg the Hammer Valentine. How old is Greg the Hammer? Which the Hammer is a great nickname.
Yeah.
Greg the Hammer Valentine.
68.
61.
73.
Ah.
And that's it. We got to push. Good job on that there.
I reversed.
You did?
Okay.
Yeah. Doesn't
All
count, though. Good
I
job,
know.
Jake.
Yeah, good job.
Well
Appreciate
done.
it.
America's fastest growing game.
Steve Harvey's keeps trying to buy the game from me. I'm like, nope, this game is staying here in town. Not
Do
going
you
anywhere.
remember how we started this?
Yes.
Because you would do it with Pogue, and it was like days of the week and celebrity birthdays, and then I was producing, and I started
It had to do with a consultant. Are we allowed to go into that or not?
I don't care.
Okay. A consultant did not like the fact that we couldn't book guests at 6 o'clock in the morning and said, I'm not listening. And so I came up with celebrity birthdays and days of the week.
Because we did it at the end of the hour.
Yeah. And he just like, you can't believe you can't get guests that early. I'm like, who wants to get up? I mean,
Right.
It's tough to get somebody up, you know? And so we did it. And then we had somebody here, a program director that hated it. And then the consultant came and said, that is the best segment I've ever – you remember this? He said, that's the best segment I've ever heard on Sports Talk. I was like, what? You were just 2 weeks ago you're bashing us, and now it's like it's great, it's fun, it's interactive, and people weighing in and da-da-da. And we just took it from there and never stopped.
Okay. Because I remember being a part of it.
Yeah, everybody loves to play. Willie comes in here and is like, I knew this, I knew that, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. I had a guy 2 days ago at the gym was like, oh, I knew this birthday, and I didn't think. I was like, okay, that's fine. I mean,
when
it's
I write
fun.
the history of the game book, it'll be in there.
Yeah, it was like that in days of the week. So
It'll
it was
be
just,
right before the section on
but
somebody
else.
else.
But we all like to play the game because it's like, I know that guy. We can't be that old. And so it's people you think that have passed away. They're
I'm
still
disappointed
around.
I didn't get the wrestling ones. I just thought Arn Anderson was Flair's age.
How old is Flair? Flair's 70.
Flair's like 73.
So is
74.
The Rock coming back?
It's looking that way. I mean,
He's
was
got to
great.
reignite that career.
Yeah, it was great Friday with McAfee comes out, and then he was at game day and all that stuff. I mean, he's so entertaining.
He is. Because he went to McGavick High School.
That is correct.
Everybody from McGavick High School is entertaining.
That'll do it for us. But coming up next, Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. They'll have reaction to what Mike Vrabel and the other Titans have to say today. That's all next. 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.